handoff up the middle to K-Ron Adams once again. Adams again with good positive yardage, about 8 yards ahead on that first down carry. We'll give it 9 yards, bring up second down and 1.
Another nice run there by K-Ron. You saw as the patience showed right there as he waited for that hole to open up for him, followed a couple blockers, 8 yards, sets him up with 2nd and 2. Let's see if that offense wants to take a shot down deep with Salters maybe on the outside, get a quick score here to open up the game.
Second down and 1. Raider ball at the Howland 37-yard line. Taylor sets up in the shotgun this time, and he looks over to the left. He's got Salter on the sideline. Salter's met immediately, but a gain of about 6 or 7 yards brings up another Raider first down.
Yeah, way to loosen up that defense there. You know, all week they've obviously watched the films. Howland's watched these films all year, and even if they didn't watch the films, I'm sure they've heard about the running attack that Harding has behind K-Ron Adams. Get that defense, kind of spread them out a little, get them thinking about a pass, open up the line a little bit for establish the running game.
Taylor under center again on this first down play, and they hand off once again to Adams up the middle. Adams breaks through the line of scrimmage. Adams to the 20-yard line, brought down at about the 14-yard line. There's a flag on the play.
Like he was a little high on that tackle, probably going to get him for a face mask.
Adams on the run to the Howland 15-yard line. It's another first down, waiting to see what this penalty is. And you called it, Eddie. Face mask on the Tigers.
Something Howland definitely didn't need on this drive. Thus far, they've been unable to stop the run. Hit a pass out there to the left to the wide receiver and then tack on there. Luckily, it was only half the distance to the goal because the run got inside that 15-yard line.
First and goal, Raiders at the 7-yard line. And there's the pitch to Adams. Adams trying to get around the left end.
Ball, touchdown.
And Adams almost walks that ball in the end zone for a touchdown, Raiders.
Well, Harding didn't do anything that was unexpected there. Ran a couple sweeps up the middle, pass outside. They were effective on that drive. You know, Howland's had a down year this year, and we don't want to give them any room to get their hopes up. You want to put this team away early. Obviously, with them being a next-door rival, you know, anything can happen. So Harding really wants to keep their foot on the gas tonight, get a good lead. Hopefully, maybe you'll be able to get those starters out by halftime, make sure there's no injuries.
Michael Kloss on for the extra point. It's good. 7-0 Raiders at the 10:38 mark of the first quarter. And if you're out there tonight watching on our YouTube link, catching the live stream of the ball game, check in. Let us know who you are, where you are. We'll try and get you a shout out throughout the ball game. Had a lot of people watching from all points last weekend. See if we can't get a nice crowd online this weekend.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is a part of football. You get that cold weather, you get some of that rain coming down, you know, but I will say that we did get a pretty good turnout despite the weather conditions for senior night. And as you see there out on Atlantic Street, the cars are still pouring in.
Raiders taking the quick 7-0 lead, largely on the legs of K-Ron Adams. Adams coming in tonight. That drive there probably put him over 1,500 yards rushing on the season. There's the kick, a low running kick by Noah Murray, and that's going to be fielded and down at the Howland 21-yard line.
One of the issues that the Raiders are going to have to fix going into next week is if there's been one Achilles heel all year for the Raiders, it's been on special teams in that kickoff. And you see they elected to do a squib kick there. You're wondering if that's the fix that they decided to put in and to address some of those long runs that opposing teams have been able to get against the Raiders.
Howland sets up 1st and 10 at their own 21-yard line. Quarterback sets up in the shotgun. And that's going to be a quarterback draw. He'll get ahead for maybe 2 or 3 yards. Design play for the quarterback right there.
And once again, the defense has been the heart and soul of this team all year. Start out with a nice stop with the quarterback. I'm sure Howland's watched the films the last 2 weeks. Opposing teams have been able to hit this defense. The only place they've ever been able to hit them is with that fake to the running back and then the quarterback coming up the sideline. Let's see if the defense has got a stop for that this week.
Gain of 2 in a play, 2nd down and 8. Quarterback number 11, Jordan Franzaglio. Lines up under center this time. There's a handoff up the middle of the tailback. He's met at the line of scrimmage. Just a gain of maybe 1 on that play.
Like one of the seniors, Samanje Warfield there on the tackle.
Number 29, Eric Babinchak, the tailback. Runner on that play. Pick up about 1. 3rd down and 8 at the 23-yard line. Franzaglio lines up under center once again. He's got 2 receivers to his left. Babinchak, the lone setback. Pass over the middle. That's tipped and falls incomplete. Brings up a 4th down and 8. Howland's going to be forced to punt early.
A nice 3 and out by the defense. They did their job, get that offense back onto the field.
Jeremy Wilson, Jamal Anderson back deep for the Raiders. Are set up on about their own 47-yard line, waiting for this punt. That ball's fielded about the 50-yard line, and a return. Ball's on the ground. There's a fumble on the play.
We got it.
And it looks like that's covered by the Raider return team.
You know, something you got to watch on these cold, rainy nights like this. That ball gets real slick out there. Turnover on special teams is something that can turn that momentum, give Howland a little bit of life. But luckily, we were able to get back on that ball.
And there is a little bit more of a drizzle falling than there was a few minutes ago, so it is coming down. A little precipitation out there. Definite football weather in Week 10. Raiders have the ball 1st and 10 at the Howland 44-yard line. 9 minutes to play in the first quarter. The Raiders off to an early 7-0 lead on a K-Ron Adams 7-yard run. Taylor back in the shotgun to start this series. And there's a little shovel over to Jeremy Wilson. Wilson gets around the end for 5, 6, 7 yards. Little end around play there for Jeremy Wilson.
Yeah, that's been one of Harding's, one of the Raiders' staple plays here for the last 3-4 years. They like to run that jet sweep with that little flick of the wrist from the quarterback to the running back. And once you don't get that end sealed, it's wide open for the running back for big gains.
And there's a handoff to Adams up the middle. This time he's met hard by the Howland defensive line, a gain of about 2. It's going to bring him a 3rd down and short. Go back a play and check that. That was Chris Chu on that end around play, that little shovel pass.
It's like Harding's put a new wrinkle into the offense this week with a hurry up.
Quick pass over the middle. That'll bring up a 1st down. That time it was Jeremy Wilson on the receiving end of that pass.
Yeah, I really like that play. All year when we've thrown passes, we've thrown those screen passes and we've taken shots down the sideline. Nice to see him work the middle there.
1st and 10 Raiders at the Howland 23-yard line. I'm not sure if that was a mix-up or a quarterback option, but whatever it was, it resulted in about a 5-yard loss for the Raiders. Howland gets in there on that play. A little miscommunication there between Taylor and Adams, looked like.
Yeah, not sure what happened on that play. You saw a couple guys going after Adams. I thought he had the ball, and then I saw Taylor squirt out the other side. Unfortunately, it looked like that was a broken play because Taylor had no blockers in front of him.
Brings up a 2nd down and 15 at the Howland 28-yard line. K-Ron Adams, a lone setback. Taylor under center this time.
He's got the one-on-one matchup out there with Salters.
There's the pitch to Adams, runner right in. Adams picks up a few. Howland had that strung out pretty nicely. Adams maybe 2 yards on that play. Give him only 1 yard. Brings up a 3rd down and 14 at the 27.
You know, you take a look at the defensive set that Howland's coming out in. It looks like they're trying to really pack the box in. It looks like they're only putting 1 safety back, if that, giving those receivers an opportunity at a one-on-one matchup outside. Salters all year has been shown to be able to go up and grab that 50-50 ball. This time they do have 2 safeties back, but you see they're playing up.
Taylor drops back.
And he's going
down
for
the
it.
right sideline, looking for Salter in the end zone. Good defensive coverage by the Howland defensive back on that play. He's going to bring up a 4th down and 14. And Howland D-back did a nice job keeping his eye on the ball. If he turns and looks at Salter on that play, he probably gets flagged.
Yeah, you know, you got to give the defensive back credit there. He knew he was on an island by himself, but he also liked the recognition that the team saw, as well as the quarterback being able to identify that one-on-one coverage out there and attack it. Like we said, Salter's proven all year long he can come down with that 50-50 ball.
Jakari Salter's got 7 touchdown catches on the year, close to 400 yards in receiving. He's kind of quietly racked up a pretty nice season in the all the talk centering around K'Ron Adams, his 1,500 yards rushing. You know, that we do definitely have a couple of other weapons out there.
Yeah, you know, Chu's been there all year. You've got Peavolis. Even the young sophomore, Smith, that comes in at running back, generally filling out that power I position. This team is definitely suited for the future, with, I believe, Taylor being a sophomore, Smith being a sophomore, and I believe they have another running back that's been getting some time as well, Felton, another sophomore that, when he's gotten some time, has been able to show the ability to get some yards on the ground. So not only the Raiders look nice for this year, but going into the future, they look like they're well set to keep this great tradition of Warren Harding football alive.
A couple shout outs out there. We got people all over the place tonight. Todd watching in Texas, Bill in Colorado, my brother Joe once again watching in Arizona. Once again, Raider Nation going countrywide. Taylor drops back on this 4th down play. He's hit and he fumbles, and that's going to be Howland football.
That's exactly what the Howland team was looking for, was a turnover on get a big turnover there. Stop Harding from being able to build that lead up here to 14-0. We'll see if that defense can come out and get a stop and stop Howland in their tracks. Turnovers are probably the only thing that would ever be able to keep Howland in a game with Harding this year.
Howland takes over 1st and 10 at their own 28-yard line. Franzaglio under center. Babinchak, the lone set back in the backfield for Howland. And the handoff goes to Babinchak. He's met at the line of scrimmage. We're just about no gain. He might pick up a yard on that. Second down and 10. Very little gain on that 1st down play. Franzaglio drops back into the shotgun position, and another designed quarterback keeper play. Just about a yard pickup on that play by Franzaglio. Brings up a 3rd down and 9. Coming up on 5 minutes to play in the 1st quarter. Raiders hanging on to a 7-0 lead.
Nice position for the defense to be in with this 3rd and long. Raiders have shown all year they've got no fear in sending the house. They got a lot of confidence in their corners out there to be able to lock those receivers down one-on-one. Let's see what they bring. Like Howland wants to talk about it.
Howland coming out after the timeout, just under 5 minutes to play. 3rd down and 9 at their own 28-yard line. Gonzagalo drops back the pass, rolling out to his right. The catch is made around the 30. That's going to be a first down out around the 42-yard line.
Yeah, Raiders brought some pressure that time, but quarterback was able to identify the blitz there on his right-hand side. Had that receiver wide open in the flats. It looks like there may be a flag on this, though.
A little bit of little late hit on the out of bounds on that play, I think. Looked like a little bit late activity going on down there. That's going to give Howland another 15 yards on that play. That moves the ball all the way to the Raider 42-yard line. And for the first time this evening, Howland finds itself in Harding territory. 1st and 10 Howland at the Raider 42-yard line. Howland has 3 receivers to the left. Franzaglio sets up under center. Man in motion coming this way. There's a handoff up the middle to Babinchek. Babinchek gets, again, very little yardage up the middle. Gain of about 1 brings up a 2nd down and 9.
Yeah, the Raiders have been able to control the line of scrimmage early here in the game. Nothing really going for the Howland running game. That one penalty, 15 yards, helped them. They've been able to hit that one pass outside to get the first down, but thus far, the Raider defense has really showed some dominance up front.
2nd down and 9, coming up on 4:20 left in the first quarter. Franzaglio drops back to pass. He's hit in the backfield and sacked for about a 4-yard loss.
And great pressure again by the defense. Getting in there to sack the quarterback. Something we've seen all year from this defense. Like we said before, really the bread and butter of this team, the foundation is starting with the defense. And all year long, ever since, like we said, since the second half of the first game of the year, somehow they clicked a switch and they've just been hitting all cylinders since then.
3rd down and 14 at the Raider 46-yard line. Franzaglio drops back to pass again. He's under heavy pressure once again, and he's going to be sacked way back in Howland territory at the 39.
Another big play by the defense. That's going to put them in 4th and very long. See where Steve Harding ends up with real good field position again on this possession.
Howland with the start of a really nice drive there. Nice pass completion for first down. They got the benefit of a personal foul penalty. Got it into Raider territory. 2 straight sacks, and now it's 4th and 29 at their own 39-yard line, and they are forced to kick it away. A high, short kick. Takes a Howland bounce, and that's going to roll dead at the Harding 32-yard line. Harding offense takes the field. It's 1st and 10 at their own 32. Elijah Taylor is going to line up in the shotgun position. K'Ron Adams set to his right. 2 receivers left. And the handoff is up the middle to K'Ron Adams. Adams to the line of scrimmage. Adams to the 50 yards. And Adams is off to the races once again. 68 yards for K'Ron Adams and a Raider touchdown.
Once he broke those linebackers, you saw it. He had a couple blockers out in front of him. Once he got going full speed, there aren't many people that are going to be able to catch him. 68 yards later, he proved it.
K'Ron Adams with a 68-yard scoring run up the middle, and this Howland defense brings the score to 13-0. There's a Howland player down on the field back around the 40-yard line. Howland training staff on the field to check him out and we'll get out to the PAT attempt in just a few moments. Hopefully this young man will be able to walk off the field. And K-Ron Adams keeps piling on the numbers in this 2018 football season.
Yeah, really a nice season. Pleasure to watch the young man all year long and the things he's been able to do on the field. But I'm sure he'd tell you, first and foremost, he couldn't do any of that without those guys up front blocking for him. So a lot of credit's got to go to that offensive line as well for opening up those holes, getting him the space that he needs to create big plays.
Injured player for Howland, number 4, Cartier Yancey, able to walk off the field under his own power. And Raiders setting up now for the extra point attempt. Mike Kloss on once again. Another young man who's really had a solid season back there, and we've said it a couple times. It's a really nice bonus for any high school football team to have a young man back there that can make those extra point kicks. Kick is up, and it is good for a 14-0 Raider lead. 2:29 to play in the first quarter.
Yeah, you know, you talk about the special teams, the kicking game specifically. Coaches will tell you, you know, there's not 2 parts of football, there's 3 parts of football. It's offense, defense, and special teams. And when you can rely on that kicker not only to put those extra points through, but also once you get somewhere inside the 10, 15, out to the 20-yard line, knowing that you're confident that you can put an extra 3 points on the board, it could be a difference maker at the end of the year, at the end of the game, especially when you get into those close games.
Raider kicking team onto the field, and Noah Murray, who has come on to handle the kickoff duties. Kloss has been doing the extra point. Murray's come on and done the kickoff duties, and we'll see. He squibbed the first kick. We'll see if he sent another squibber down there for the Howland receivers. Again, maybe trying to negate the returns that some of these teams have had throughout the season. And there's another low line drive kick, fielded about the 28-yard line and brought out to about the 37-yard line. Howland will have fairly decent field position to start this drive. Number 82, Braden Gibson fields that ball for the Howland return team.
As the defense takes the field, can't lose sight of tonight being senior night. Now, we know we've got a game next week, whoever the draw may be, possibly a home game for the playoffs, but this may be these seniors' last time to play here in Mollenkopf Stadium, and I'm sure they want to send off their friends, family, as well as all the fans here with a nice showing.
1st and 10, Howland at their own 37-yard line. Frontaglio back to pass. He's under pressure once again. He's going to be sacked once again. The 3rd straight sack for that Raider defense.
You look at that play, he only had 2 receivers en route. They were both running fly routes down the sidelines. On his left-hand side, he had one-on-one coverage out there, but he had a safety coming over the top down here on the right. Nowhere for him to go, and honestly, I don't think he could see once that pocket started to collapse around him.
Brings up a 2nd down and 13. Ball pushed back to the Howland 34-yard line. Babinchak, the lone setback in the backfield for Howland. Frontaglio under center for this 2nd down play. And this time the handoff is to, actually that's number 4 back there, Yancey. The injured player on K-Ron Adams' touchdown run. Good to see him back in the ball game. However, he is taken down for another Howland loss. Moves the ball back to the 30-yard line, make it a 29-yard line. Brings up a 3rd down and 18 for Howland.
Interesting there. They brought 45 Nathan Barrett out there in motion, set him up there on that left-hand side outside the tackle, and actually had him facing the sideline, obviously trying to take out a defensive end or maybe even an outside linebacker coming down, but to no avail. Still a big loss on the play.
Franzaglio rolls
More
out to his
pressure.
right, and he's under a lot of pressure again. Gets the ball away, and it's going to be short. Brings up a 4th down and 18. Absolutely no way to get his feet set and get anything on that pass.
Yeah, right now the defense has got the quarterback running for his life out there. He was able to get that ball off in the general vicinity of a receiver to avoid the sack for a big loss.
Howland forced a punt on 4th and 18.
Looks like they're coming.
And the Raiders are bringing the rush this time, and that is another short, high kick. Fair catch, wait for it. Ball's bobbled. And I think that's going to be covered by Howland this time.
That's a second turnover for the Raiders. Early in the just in the first quarter, they've got 2 turnovers. Howland has not been able to capitalize on those turnovers.
It's 14-0 Raiders as we get to the end of the first quarter. 33 seconds left to play. But again, we talked about it early on, backyard rivals, and another mistake that kind of lets this team hang around just a little bit longer.
Well, some of those mistakes, like you said, the turnovers, the fumbles, these are things that you don't want to see in this game. This is a dress rehearsal for next week for all intents and purposes.
Howland with the ball, 1st and 10 at the Raider 38-yard line after the fumble punt. And a lot of pressure again that time. Absolutely no chance for the Howland quarterback to get back and set up to try to make a pass right now. Looks like about another 8-yard loss.
Now, Howland's got no answer for the blitz right now. We'll see if they could try to turn some of that aggressive pressure against the Raiders, but right now they've got no answer for it. We've got 2-3 defensive players deep in the backfield on every play.
And that's the end of the first quarter after that sack. Raiders take a 14-0 lead into the second quarter. When we open up play in the second quarter, it's going to be Howland ball, 2nd down and 19 at the Raider 47-yard line.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight
As we mentioned earlier, it's senior night here at Mollenkopf Stadium. We honored our senior football players and cheerleaders right before the start of the game, and halftime will be a tribute to our veterans. Veterans were admitted free this evening. We'll have a halftime tribute to them between our Harding band and Harding vocal choirs.
Yeah, it was nice before the game to see they had the elementary middle school kids out there with the high school band playing the alma mater, and as always, hang on Sloopy, a tradition here at the stadium.
A shout out to all our veterans, not only here at the stadium, many of our veterans out there watching the ball game tonight. Thank you for your service. Happy to have you with us. Hope you're enjoying your Friday evening. 2nd down and 19. Howland Tigers to open up the second quarter at the Raider 47-yard line. Franzaglio looks back to pass again. Quick out to the right. Overthrows his receiver.
Once again, even on a simple screen pass like that, a lot of pressure coming, and the Raiders definitely had that play snuffed out, even if it was completed, but just tremendous pressure coming up the middle from the Raider defense.
3rd and 19 for the Howland Tigers. Ball at the Harding 47-yard line.
3rd and 19, another familiar position for this defense. Quarterback's got to know that pressure's going to be coming. Not a lot of 19-yard plays that you draw up in practice.
Franzaglio back to pass.
Pick.
And that ball is picked off at the 42-yard line. Return back to about the 47-yard line. Raider ball, 1st and 10 at their own 47.
Look, that was Jakubik out there. Or Djokovic, one of the two.
Troy Jakovic on the interception. That's 2 straight weeks for a pickoff for the young man. He had one last week against Youngstown East. And Howland and Harding trade turnovers on these last couple of series. Raiders take over, 1st and 10 at their own 47-yard line. 11:48. Second quarter just underway with the Raiders sporting a 14-0 lead over the Howland Tigers. There's a handoff to Adams, and he is met immediately in the backfield.
It's like maybe they had a little mix-up there on the line of scrimmage. They had a defender come straight through. I don't know if he got touched.
Actually, that handoff was to Elijah Smith.
So again, we talk about some of the young talent on the team. Smith being one of them. Last week, I think he had maybe a pair of touchdowns. I think one might have gotten called back, but he's shown he's shown a lot of greatness all year, and for just to be a sophomore, just great signs for the things to come in the future years here at Mollenkopf Stadium.
Looks like Harding's getting a couple younger players in there. Brandon Arnold steps in at quarterback for this series. Elijah Smith is a lone setback. He's going to get the pitch around the left corner, turns the corner, and Elijah Smith ahead for 7 or 8 yards. Nice run for the sophomore.
Well, you like to see this. Get some of those younger guys in here. You never know. You're one injury away from, the next man being up. Getting ready to move into the playoffs, you can't have any excuses. Somebody goes down, you need somebody to come in there that's got some real game time experience. So getting some of these younger guys who generally come in at the end of the games when they're usually going against that second team, the JV team, letting them go against get some live varsity action will only do well to help the Raiders as we go into the playoffs.
And that nice run by Elijah Smith, unfortunately called back on a penalty. Moves the ball back to the 34-yard line of Harding, brings up a 2nd down and 22. Brandon Arnold sets up in the shotgun. Overthrows his receiver, looking for Jakari Salter over here on the near sideline.
The Raiders are going to find themselves in an unfamiliar position, 3rd and 22 here. Looks like they're going to stay with Arnold. Looks like he's on the sideline getting the play to run in. Let's see what the coaching staff dials up here on this third and long 22.
Arnold in the shotgun. Elijah Smith remains in as the lone running back. He sets up to Arnold's left. And the Raiders are going to take a timeout here and talk this over. Got a couple of those younger players out there. Make sure they have everything straight, know what's going on. Take a time out here and wish my buddy Doug in Cuyahoga Falls a happy birthday today. My old Kent State pal from back in the day. I think Doug's taking in the Cuyahoga Falls Black Tigers season finale tonight, and he might catch this game on YouTube later. So if you happen to catch the YouTube link, Doug, happy birthday to you, buddy.
Looks like I see K-Ron Adams down on the sideline. Looks like he's got the shoulder pads off and some ice on that left shoulder.
K-Ron Adams with a big night so far, the big 68-yard touchdown run. Hopefully that's just precautionary. Give him a little bit of a rest. Make sure he's ready to go next weekend. Arnold back to pass. The pass is complete. Little or no gain on that play. Looks like it's going to bring about a 4th down and 21, maybe a yard gain on that play.
And you wonder if the coaching staff decided to kind of pull the plug early on the starters tonight, seeing how well the defense is performing. Howland hasn't really been able to move the ball at all. Want to make sure you get out of this game with no injuries heading into the playoffs.
Gavin Stouffer with a nice punt, fielded at the 25-yard line, and a nice open field tackle down there. Howland's going to set up first down and 10 at their own 31-yard line. Zaglio under center to start off this series for the Howland Tigers. Babinchak once again, the lone tailback. And there's a handoff up the middle to Babinchak. Babinchak through the line of scrimmage. A big run out to the 45-yard line of Howland. A 14-yard run there for John Babinchak of the Howland Tigers. Sorry, it's Eric Babinchak. Got the first name wrong. Eric Babinchak with a nice run there. First and 10 Howland at their own 45-yard line. And off once again to Babinchak. He gets ahead for, looks like a 2-yard gain this time. Second down and 8 upcoming.
The Raiders will still look to be pretty strong up front there. You can see that they've taken out a few of the starters. I see Samanje Warfield, 56, looks like he's on the sideline as well. Looks like they probably got a few of those younger guys, a few of the second teamers in there, getting some reps before we go into next week.
Babinchak with the handoff once again. He gets it outside around the right corner. He's going to pick up another Howland first down. Gain of about 10 on the play. Takes the ball to the Harding 43-yard line. A nice run there for Eric Babinchak. Unfortunately, that's going to come back. Howland called for holding on that play.
Holding penalties are drive killers. 10-yard penalty takes you from that second and short back to that second and long. Really puts your play calling into despair because the defense knows that you got to do something to get some chunks of yards back. Really limits your ability to call plays.
Second down and 15. The penalty backs up Howland to their own 40-yard line. And again, the handoff once again to Babinchak. He's met at the line of scrimmage. Gain of about 1. Third and 14 coming up this time. Defense doing a nice job out there, even with all the substitutions early on for Harding. Still keeping this Howland offense in check.
Howland finds themselves in a familiar position here in that third and long. Let's see if even with it seems to be some of the second teamers in there, if they're willing to still bring that blitz. They're going to come with 3 wide receivers. Looks like they're going to have some single coverages out there. See if the quarterback has any time to throw.
Zaglio back to pass. He's forced out of the pocket. He's going to make it back to just about the original line of scrimmage to bring up a 4th down and 10 before he's brought down. And Howland's going to be forced to punt once again.
Yeah, another nice defensive stand by the Raiders there. Get that Howland offense off the field.
Number 20, Garrett Deemer on to punt for the Howland Tigers. And there's a fake.
He's got one guy in the route, and he overthrew him.
Snap to the up back on that play, looking to try to pass for a first down, overthrew the receiver. Harding's going to take over 1st and 10 at the around the Howland 40-yard line. Looks like the Howland 45-yard line.
You know, something I was going to mention earlier in the game when Howland first lined up for that punt, you really got to watch some of those trick plays there, because at this point in the year, Howland's got nothing to lose, so you really got to watch some of those trick plays there. Luckily, the Raider defense wasn't falling for it. They had one guy in the pattern there, and he was covered, and the ball was overthrown, so the offense is going to take over in familiar territory over on the Howland half of the field.
Brandon Arnold remains in the game at quarterback. Elijah Smith, the running back, to his right. And there's that little shovel pass end around play. Chris Chu once again brought down about the line of scrimmage. Brings up a 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, Chu had a hole for a minute, though. Looked like he was just going to be able to cut straight up field there through that hole. He decided he was going to try to cut back to his left. A little too much footwork right there, allowed the defense to catch up with him.
2nd down and 10 at the Howland 45-yard line. Coming up on 6 minutes to play in the second quarter. Harding on top, 14-0. A pair of K'Ron Adams touchdown runs. There's the handoff to Elijah Smith, and he is met immediately upon receiving the football. Looks like about a 3-yard loss.
Going to put us in a 3rd and 10. 3rd and 12, excuse me, 3rd and 12. Raiders haven't been able to establish the running game with this second unit. Let's see, I'm not sure if Salters is still in the game. We'll see if they're willing to go up top.
Arnold in the shotgun, he's looking downfield. He's got Salter. Oh, and that ball's picked off by Howland. He was looking for Jakari Salter. Ball returned back inside Raider territory. Looked like Salter had his man beat. That ball just a tad underthrown and picked off by the Howland defense.
Yeah, he's a little bit underthrown there. The safety was able to come underneath and make that interception. Nice play by the safety. Ball a little bit underthrown. At the same time, I think that Howland defense, no, you got the second unit in there, but you still got Salters. Good chance that they were going to go to him, and the defense was able to read it, come away with a takeaway. Let's see what the defense is able to do on this drive. That's 3 turnovers in the first half thus far for the Raiders.
Ball returned to the Raider 46-yard line. 1st and 10, Howland.
Okay, well, I mean,
And
you
off
can
once
use
again
the
to
game
Babinchak, and
controls
he is
in,
met
the
behind the
mixer,
line of
so-
scrimmage. That's going to be a loss of a yard or 2 on that play. Looks like about a 2-yard loss, maybe a 3-yard loss. 2nd down and 13 upcoming.
Jacob Beck.
All right.
That Raider
I'm
defensive
gonna
line
leave this up for now,
continues
and
to
I'm
get
gonna run
very
in
good
and, check it
penetration
out.
on that Howland offense.
Bye-bye.
It looks like they've went back to a traditional 4-3 defense with the second unit here. 2 safeties deep. They rotate that corner over for the Twins up top.
Franzaglio drops back to pass once again. He's forced out of the pocket. Again, he's under heavy pressure, and he's going to be sacked on the far sideline. Nowhere to go for Franzaglio of Howland. Brings up about a 3rd down and 20 on that big loss. All the way back to the Howland 47, 48-yard line.
The determination you see up front by that Raider defensive line. They brought the blitz. The blitz was picked up, but they kept on fighting through it, able to get through, put pressure on the quarterback, string him out to the sideline for the sack. Another, 8-yard loss? I think that's probably 4 or 5 sacks on the night for the Raider defense.
3rd down and 22 back at the Howland 48-yard line. We've got a whistle on a play. Howland's going to take their 2nd time out of the first half. Just over 4 minutes to play before halftime. Once again, Harding ahead 14-0 over the Howland Tigers in this regular season finale at Mollenkopf. In case you're just joining us, Harding ahead on a pair of K'Ron Adams touchdown runs. The first one for 7 yards, then K'Ron broke off a 68-yarder a little bit later on in the first quarter. And that's where we stand at this point. Harding right now has put quite a number of substitutes in this game. Try and keep some of those starters fresh and ready to go for next week's playoff game. Harding has clinched a playoff spot. We'll just see how the numbers pan out at the end of the night and see whether or not the Raiders get to host a first-round game next week here at Mollenkopf.
Yeah, it looked like the coaches saw what they needed to see. They came out, established a quick two-score lead. Defense has shown complete dominance. No reason not to get some of these younger guys in the game. Rest up some of the guys, some of the starters for next week.
Franzaglio looking a high pass down that right sideline. A lot of contact down there. Looks like Troy Jakubik's going to get flagged for the interference call on that play.
It looked like he just got tied up with him. He had great coverage out there. The receiver kind of stopped, looked back for the ball, causing him with some contact down there. Ref felt it was enough to throw the flag out there. It's going to put Howland in probably the best position they've seen all night.
Well, shout out to my buddy Mark Flager out there checking in tonight, watching the game on our live feed. Flag on that play, not enough for a first down, but it does move the ball ahead and gives Howland a much more manageable third down and 7 situation at the 38-yard line. It was 3rd and 22, now 3rd and 7.
Interesting. You would have thought that a pass interference would have been an automatic first down.
Franzaglio with the keeper, and fighting for yardage. He's getting no place to go. That Raider defensive line, a lot of big surge into that backfield. Actually, there's a yard or two loss. Brings up a 4th down and 9 at the 40-yard line.
And once again, that defense not fooled. Lot of motion on that play. You saw they faked that jet sweep right. Defense wasn't going for it. They tried to run the quarterback up the middle, and they were all over it.
Howland offense remains on the field. They're going to go for it on this 4th down and 9. Ball at the Harding 40-yard line. Franzaglio drops back to pass. He's rolling out to his right. Looks over to the sideline. He's got a man open. It's complete.
Short.
And it looks like he stepped out just before that first down marker.
Looks like he's going to be about a yard short on that.
That's going to be first down Raiders.
He found himself with a little bit of time to throw. Unfortunately, his receiver was well short of the first down marker when he caught the ball. He tried to make a play out of it right on the sideline there, just ran out of real estate about a yard shy of that first down.
Raiders take over on downs, 1st and 10 at their own 32-yard line. Just over 3 minutes to play in the half. Raiders still on top 14-0.
3 minutes left here in the half. You'd really like to see this second unit be able to put together a nice scoring drive going into the halftime with the lead at 21-0 and getting the ball back to start the second half.
And the Raiders set up in that power I. There's a handoff up the middle. Some nice yardage right there. Check to see who that young man is carrying the ball. I think number 12, Isaiah Hackett, on that run.
And I apologize, earlier I misspoke. It was Amari Burgess is who we've been seeing glimpses of all year. Really shown the ability to run, and here's Smith here with a nice hole.
Elijah Smith with a lot of yards, gets into Howland territory, picks up a first down for the Raiders.
Elijah Smith, just a sophomore, listed at 6'1", 195. You get that 6'1", 195 going, he's showing some pretty decent speed. He's going to be hard to bring down.
And the Raiders stay in that power eye, and there's a handoff once again to Hackett. Hackett through the line of scrimmage, and big yards again. Picks up about 8. And just what the Raiders were looking for, that backup unit putting up some yardage late in the first half. And again, the handoff to Smith. Smith through the line of scrimmage again. And Smith dragging the pile down to the 24-yard line.
I told you, he's listed 6'1", 195. Even with his height, he's able to keep that body low, the low center of gravity, put that 195 pounds behind him, and makes it real difficult for the defense to take down.
1st and 10 Raiders at the Howland 25-yard line. Coming up on a minute and a half to play in this first half. Hackett with the handoff once again, looking for some room. Finds a couple yards to the 23-yard line. 2nd down and 8. The second unit for Harding put together a very nice drive here as the first half winds down, sticking with that stacked eye formation. There's the handoff to Elijah Smith again up the middle. Picks up about 4 or 5 inside the 20-yard line. Just under a minute to play in the first half. Harding takes its last time out at 59 seconds to play in the second quarter.
It's a real nice drive we're seeing by the Raiders. Real old school. You don't see the power eye that much anymore in high school, college, let alone pros. I don't think you ever see it. But you just line up mano-a-mano. You know we're coming straight at you. I dare you to stop us. And thus far, Harding has proven that they've got the dominance up front. And they've got the horses behind them to just constantly chew up yards and chew up clock as we wind this first half down, getting into halftime.
Takes a lot of pressure off that young quarterback out there too. Brandon Arnold stepping in for Elijah Taylor here in the second quarter, not forcing him back into a passing situation. The line's doing its job. The backs are getting some nice yardage. Takes a lot of heat off that young man's shoulders as he steps in here for a little bit here in game 10.
Yeah, the running game starts everything. It starts up front with the offensive line being able to protect the quarterbacks and open up holes for the running backs. But once you get that running game established, it opens up for everything. If you can run the ball, you can pass the ball.
Arnold does step back to pass. He's got a man open. He's got the pass complete inside the 5-yard line, down at the 1-yard line. 1st and goal, Raiders at the 1. Sledge out there?
Isaiah Kaysen with the reception there from Arnold. That ball was underthrown. Great awareness by the receiver to come back to the ball to make that reception.
And Elijah Smith pounds it in from the 1-yard line. Touchdown, Raiders. And the Raiders take a 20-0 lead with 45 seconds to play in the first half.
Exactly what we wanted to see. 3 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock. The Raiders took the ball in their own territory, were able to drive down the field, mostly with just straight up runs up the middle. Nice catch on the pass play, but they were able to just pound that ball straight down the field with that second unit, and all culminated by Isaiah Smith. Elijah Smith, Elijah Smith pounding that ball in from the 2-yard line for another Raider touchdown.
Mike Kloss goes 3 for 3 on the night with extra point attempts, brings the score to 21-0. 45 seconds to play in the first half. Real nice offensive drive by that, looks like that Raider, made up largely of the Raiders' second offensive unit, coming in to give those starters a little breather here in the last week of the season, getting ready for the playoffs to start next week.
I can remember games like this going back to my playing days, and I can tell you, they want to be on the field. They know it's best for them to, let these younger guys get some reps in, rest themselves, but it's never colder than when you're sitting on the sideline wanting to get into that game. as we see a little more of this light misty rain that's coming down.
That drizzle getting just a little bit heavier as we move towards halftime. Very visible against the stadium lights now. Yeah, it looks like Mike Kloss back on to kick off this time. He sends a high kick. This is fielded about the 22-yard line. Good coverage there. Ball brought back to about the 29-yard line.
Howland's got one timeout left, 39 seconds. We'll see if they try to mount any kind of drive here, if they're willing just to take a knee, bring it into the locker room, and regroup.
Howland gets that return out to the 30-yard line. They'll take over 1st and 10 at that point. 39 seconds to play in the half. Zaglio sets up in the shotgun formation. 3 receivers to his right. Drops back to pass. And again, flushed out of the pocket. Little pass over the middle. It's complete for about a 10-yard gain. Close to a first down on that one.
Yeah, they're going to give him the first down, stop the clock with 29 seconds left. Even with this second unit, you see the pressure's coming. He was lucky to get that pass off. They've got to be careful or Harding will end up with the ball again.
Frontaglio back to pass once again. Again, a lot of pressure. Forced out, and he's brought down after about a 2 or 3 yard gain around the end.
I think that's going to take us to halftime. Are they going to use that final timeout?
Gets about a 2 yard gain on that, brings up a 2nd down and 8, 12 seconds to play in the half. I guess that looks like Howland's last timeout. That last pass for Howland complete to Michael Wilson for that first down play. Well, 2nd down and 8 at the Howland 42-yard line when play resumes. Coming up at halftime, we'll see the Howland Band. Howland, one of the best bands in the area as well. They always put on a good halftime show. And then our Harding Band, along with our Harding Choirs, in a tribute to our veterans in this final weekend of the high school regular football season. So stick around for that.
They're going to have 4 receivers in the pattern here. It's like they're bringing up someone to try to protect his right-hand side there.
Franzaglio rolling out to his right. And again, he's under pressure. He turns upfield to run, and he's hit hard for about a 3 or 4 yard loss. Takes that ball back to the 38-yard line, and that play is going to run out the first half. Harding takes a 21-0 lead into the locker rooms against Howland. So once again, sit back, enjoy the halftime show. The Howland Band's going to lead it off. Then we'll see our Harding Band and our Harding Choirs performing together. And we will see you in about 20 with the second half.
theme of this year's Construction Zone show, we brought a set of blueprints to life in moving pictures on the field as we took Miley Cyrus's Wrecking Ball into the danger zone. Only three Spanish language songs have been rated number one on the American pop charts. The first two were La Bamba and Macarena. We feature our Tigerettes on the third. This is Luis Fonsi's Despacito. Howland. The 2018 Howland Tigers marching band. The band is led on the field by Field Commanders Samara Henderson close out tonight's show, the Harding Northern Choirs combined for the first time since 1980 to pay tribute to this great country of ours. Under the direction of Keith Rising and Mary Meese, the a cappella and New Tomorrow's choirs begin our performance of America the Beautiful. Cheer for our Raiders! And ladies and gentlemen, the musical pride of the world, the Joseph Carroll, David Arnold, Tyrone Hicks, Greg Zachary, Travis Davis. From the Warren Reston Reserve Raiders, Ross Browner, Jimmy Browner, Joey Browner, Keith Browner, Aaron Brown, Vanessa Brandon, Myron Elsie, Derek Kelson, Vanessa Decree, Elfie Birch, Mark Brandon. From the Warren G. Harding Raiders, LaShawn Daniels, Derek Tolles, Maurice Claret, Carl Diggs, Prescott Burgess, David Herron, Vanessa Crovent, Christopher Anzavino, Mario Manningham, Chris Rucker, and Daniel Boone. Along the way, we lost a few football legends of Warren, Ohio, but their legacy will live long on this field at Mollenkopf Stadium. John Chickermia, Chuck Riffle, Jim Bratz, Lionel Thomas, Michael Graham, Teddy Roberts, Lionel Reed, David Rogers, and Corey Strickland. In this city, it doesn't matter how small or big, fast or slow, quick or patient you are. Go out there and follow your dreams and believe in everything you got.
Okay, hello Raider Nation. Welcome back to football. Hope you enjoyed that halftime show. Howland, as always, their band putting on a nice performance. One of the premier high school bands in our area, and our own Raider marching band and Raider choirs doing a halftime tribute to our veterans. We hope that came through okay on the halftime feed. Hope you enjoyed that. Getting set to start the third quarter. Your Raiders enter the second half, leading 21-0 over the Howland Tigers. The Raiders will be kicking off to start the third quarter. Once again, the Raiders hoping to put the clamps down on a home playoff game coming up next weekend. Opponent to be determined. We'll find all that out on Sunday after all the points are added up. Noah Murray set to kick off for the Raiders. And kind of a short kick, fielded inside the 20. There's a nice return for the Howland return man. Brings it out to about the 38-yard line where he's brought down by the Raider kick team.
As the Raider defense takes the field, starters were pulled pretty much by the end of the first quarter. I think they got pulled midway through the first quarter. Raiders looked real good on defense with the shutout, and you combine that with the fact that the Raider offense had 2 turnovers and then a muffed punt that looked like it might give Howland a little bit of life, but that Raider defense was able to get some big stops, creating long third downs, 3rd and 22, 3rd and 29. Howland not able to convert, getting that Raider offense back on the field, holding a shutout in the first half.
Fontraglier with the handoff to Babinchek, and Babinchek finds absolutely no running room on that play. Actually looks like he's going to lose about a half yard. Should bring up a 2nd down and 11. Babinchek was the return man on that kickoff, had a nice return, but there was absolutely nothing open on that opening run.
We'll see what Howland did at halftime to try to solve some of the issues that front 3 or the front 4 that the Raider defense has been giving them all night. Quarterbacks had no time to throw. Running backs have had no holes. A lot of pressure coming from the quarterback's right-hand side.
Second down and 11. Babinchak again with the carry. Babinchak around the right end. He's got some room and he gets a first down up to the Raider 46-yard line. Babinchak able to bounce that one outside for a first down for Howland.
Yeah, nice run there by Babinchak. Was able to turn the corner there on the right-hand side. Nice 12, 15-yard game. Probably the biggest play for the Howland Tigers all night.
First and 10 Howland at the Raider 46-yard line. Opening moments of the third quarter. Harding Raiders sporting a 21-0 lead early on in the second half. Franzaglio under center. Babinchak the lone setback. And the handoff again up the middle. Babinchak looking for some room in that line, and as has been the case most of the night, he finds none. Second down and 10.
Yeah, host of Raiders there to meet him. Defensive line getting a lot of penetration there. Able to free up those linebackers to come through and make the tackles.
Second down and 10 at the Raider 46-yard line. Franzaglio sets up under center once again. Babinchak the tailback, man in motion. The handoff once again up the middle to Babinchak, and Babinchak is met in the backfield one more time. A loss of about 2 on that play. Brings up a third down and 12 for the Howland offense.
And once again, defense finds itself in another familiar position of a 3rd and long. Doesn't leave a lot of options for the offense. Pretty much that playbook is limited down to the pass, allowing the defense to try to just pin back, rush as many as they want, because they've shown out throughout the year that they have a lot of confidence in the corners being able to stay with those receivers one-on-one out there.
Franzaglio from the shotgun looking to pass, and again under heavy pressure from that Raider defensive line. Again, just simply not able to get his feet set to throw the ball. Loss of about 6 on that play. It's going to bring up a 4th down and long, and the Tigers are going to be forced to punt early in this third quarter.
Looked like they only blitzed one on that play. Both the linebackers dropped back into coverage into that zone to cover up the middle. Looks like he was trying to hit that tight end coming on that left-hand side there, but the Raiders had it perfectly covered, and with the pressure, the quarterback just didn't have time to find him.
Harding punt returners set back around the 20-yard line. One of the better punts of the evening, fielded at the 22. Looking for a little running room, and not much there. That ball brought back out to the 25-yard line, where Harding's going to have the ball first down and 10.
Harding ended the first half with a real nice drive, consisting primarily of that power I offense. Elijah Smith was able to punch the ball in for the Raiders score. Let's see if they do anything different, or they come out with that traditional power I and just man up and go straight at them.
Another shot out there to Rebecca Bain, tuning in online. Nice to have you with us tonight. Rebecca and Philip out there watching our Raiders. The Raiders come out again in that power I formation. There's the handoff to Smith, and Smith breaks a tackle.
And he's gone.
And Elijah Smith is going to take this ball all the way 75 yards for a Raider touchdown.
It was only a matter of time.
Raiders come on net stacked eye, everybody up close. Elijah Smith got through the line of scrimmage, and once he did that, there was nothing but turf in front of him.
Well, you saw as the defense tried to stack the middle there, seeing that power I, expecting a run. Elijah Smith all night been showing a lot of power with that 6'1", 195 body. Also, obviously possesses a lot of speed. As soon as he got past the linebackers, he was able to turn the jets on. Nobody was catching him.
And Michael Klaus sends another extra point through the uprights, 28-0. Harding Raiders on top of the Howland Tigers with 8:21 to play in the third quarter. A couple other names I see here checking in on us tonight. Aaron Heller from down in Columbus. Great to have you with us tonight. Adam Reed tuning in. I see Travis Hoffman watching. Hope you're still with us, Travis. Shout out to all those people tuning in to Raider football tonight. Great to have you with us. What a nice opening set of plays for that Harding offense, especially when you consider that they've got a lot of the backup and reserves in there, keeping the pressure on Howland.
I don't know if that was a set of plays. I think that was a play.
It might have been a play. One and done for the Harding offense on that series. Noah Murray set to kick off once again for the Harding Raiders.
The offense is probably upset, wanting to stay on the field, stay warm. They're back on the sideline.
That kick takes a bounce, fielded at about the 16-yard line. Babinchak once again. He's met and brought down at the 25. First and 10, Howland at their own 25-yard line.
You know, all night, Howland hasn't really been able to get anything established. As we acknowledged earlier in the game, this is obviously a rebuilding year for Howland, down year for them. Looking to just kind of, you wonder when they're going to start to get some of the younger kids in here, start to work towards next year. Difficult position though, because this is the seniors' last game of the year. Obviously, you want to get them as much playing time as you can.
Franzaglia with the handoff to Babinchak. Babinchak gets to the line of scrimmage, and Babinchak has a little bit of running room, brings it out to almost the 50-yard line. Dragged down at the Howland 48-yard line. First and 10, Howland.
Second nice run that we've saw in as many possessions for Howland from Babinchak. He's one tackle away from breaking it. Glad to see, though, that the young team that they've got out there, nobody's given up. You see everybody chasing after the ball. 11 hats all running at the ball trying to make the play.
Babinchak with the handoff this time, and he is brought down in the backfield for a 3-yard loss. Takes that ball back to the 45-yard line, brings up a second down and 13. Seems like for every play that they get with some positive yards, they're met with a loss on the next play.
Oh, yeah, and you're coming up on a 2nd and 13 here. You know, a play like this, you want to get 6-7 yards so you don't put your quarterback and the offense in a position of those 3rd and longs.
Franzaglia under center, Babinchak alone set back here. Franzaglia back to pass. Here's a quick pass. That ball and defender get there at the same time.
Case and Lewis on the coverage out there for the Raiders.
Looking for Nathan Barrett out there, number 45. Nice coverage by the Raider defense. Defensive back timed that collision perfectly. 3rd down and 13 for the Howland Tigers. Ball just inside their own 45-yard line. 7:19 to play in this 3rd quarter. Raiders with a 28-0 lead.
Raiders putting themselves in position for great defensive plays with these 3rd and longs.
Franzaglia gets this one off.
Going
looking
up
down
top.
the sideline.
He was out of bounds.
Into double coverage, and well,
you know,
he's
he's throwing the flag, but he threw his hat first. The receiver was out of bounds, never established himself back in bounds. It'll be interesting to see what they call on this. Wonder if he's going to pick this flag. Nope, they're going to make a call.
Pass interference on the Raiders on that play.
It's an interesting call, though, because you saw the official throw his hat, acknowledging that the receiver had went out of bounds. It didn't look like the receiver had enough time to establish himself back in bounds for the penalty to be called. But with a 28-0 lead in the mid-3rd quarter, we're not going to argue about it.
That gives the Tigers a 1st down and 10 at the Raider 40-yard line. Another handoff up the middle to Babinchak, and Babinchak once again is met at the line of scrimmage, falls ahead for maybe just a yard on that play. Brings up a 2nd down and 9. Babinchak picks up about a half a yard on that play. The drizzle continues to fall here at Mollenkopf, maybe even picking up in intensity just a little bit more. Great football weather out there. Low 40s, rain. The only thing missing is the mud.
Yeah, you don't find a lot of grass in these stadiums anymore.
A whistle.
Calling offsides on the Raiders.
And we've got encroachment on the Raider defense. Brings up a second down and a long 5 for Howland. Moves the ball inside the 35-yard line.
Those linebackers a little too quick to the snap there.
Prince Aguilar drops back. He's looking over here on the near sideline. Again, good coverage down there.
Really been impressed with these corners.
Looking for Barrett once again on that play.
Corners have been there all night. That defensive line and the linebackers blitzing really helped those corners out there, giving that quarterback, 1, maybe 2 seconds to throw the ball. Really helps those corners out there on islands by themselves, not having to cover for 3, 4, 5 seconds, as that rain really starts to come down now.
Cason Lewis on the coverage on that last play. Howland sends 3 receivers down here to the left. Man goes in motion. There's the handoff up the middle of Babachek, and Babachek slips in the backfield. That's going to cost him a couple yards. Moves the ball back to the 37-yard line. It's going to bring up a 4th down and 7. I'm assuming that Howland offense is going to stay on the field for this play at this point.
At this point, they really have nothing to lose. Got the ball on the Raiders' side of the field here. Might as well take a shot. See if you can get a conversion on this 4th and manageable.
4th down and 7 for the Howland Tigers at the Raider 37-yard line. And we have another, looks like a timeout for Howland on this play. They're going to try to talk this one over and make sure they have everything set for this 4th down play. Send a shout out to Philip Stouffer out there. Philip, glad to have you with us tonight. Kevin Bonner checking in from Columbus. I see Rob Sheridan out there checking in on us tonight. Great to have all of you guys with us. Angela Keller, glad to have you here with us tonight. Sean Markle. Just a few of the names popping up. We got a lot of people watching tonight. We'll try to get a few more shout outs here. Travis Hoffman. Seth Brugler, one of my old students out there. How you doing, Seth? Good to have you online tonight. Hope you're enjoying the game. Howland with 4th down and 7 at the Raider 37-yard line. Gonzaglia is in the shotgun. Steps back to pass under heavy pressure again. Breaks out of the pocket. He's going to keep this, and I don't think he's going to get enough for the 1st down. Forced out of bounds about the 35-yard line. And the Harding Raiders going to take over on downs with 5:36 to play in the 3rd quarter.
Another nice defensive stand. Getting this 2nd unit in there with a lot of work against the first team here against Howland. Thus far, been able to throw a shutout on the defensive side and throw up some points on the offensive side. Great signs for this program going forward.
Take a couple requests here. Shout out to Josh Riviera. Josh, how you doing tonight? Glad to have you with us. Raiders come back out in that stacked I formation for this series of plays. We saw that in the last one where Elijah Smith was able to break one loose to the line of scrimmage. This time the give is to number 12, Hayes. And Hayes is going to break one all the way into Howland territory down about the 42-yard line. Sorry, Isaiah Hackett. Isaiah Hackett with that nice carry. Hackett the deep back in that power I formation.
Another nice run there. Doing all of this with Howland Tigers stacking 9 in the box. Just got the 2 corners out on the outside. But when you do things like that, they're basically almost in a goal line position. You break the linebackers and it's off to the races.
There's a handoff to the fullback Elijah Smith once again. This time he's brought down with no gain on the play. 2nd down and 10 from the Howland 44-yard line. Isaiah Hacker with a couple nice runs this evening. That's another underclassman. He's a junior. We'll see him on the field next year. And the Raiders staying with that stacked I formation. No reason not to at this point. It's worked out well for them. This time Arnold looks to pass. He's going to keep that and picks up about 4 yards. Make it 3 yards to the 41-yard line. Brings up 3rd down and 7.
As we sit here in our booth, we have the coordinators next to us. This is probably the most calm that I've heard the coordinators in all the games that we've done this year.
There's been some excitement in that next door booth on occasion throughout the season.
Well, the game's going real well for them.
Hackett with the pitch out around the corner. He's going to power his way ahead. Looks like he's going to pick up that 1st down. Gets just enough to move the chains on that 3rd down play.
I don't know, it might be worth a shot to give a little knock on that window, see if maybe they want to come do our job, let us call a few plays.
I think that was Amari Burgess on that play, my mistake. Amari Burgess on that nice run around that left end, picking up the 1st down for the Raiders. Another sophomore. A lot of talent coming back in the next year or two for this Raider offense. There's a handoff to Smith, and he's met hard at the line of scrimmage. He's going to drop a yard on that play.
As this rain continues to come down, good time to give recognition to everyone who helps put this production on. WSCN giving us the live broadcast, able to bring the game all across the country. Brandon Giovanni, Fred Whitaker, all the kids that are behind the cameras, just an excellent job that they do week in and week out to bring this broadcast to you free of charge.
Brandon Arnold looking for a little running room down there, maybe trying to get the pitch out to Burgess. Couldn't find any room. Drop for a little bit of a loss there. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and long. Looks like 3rd down and 12 back at the 37-yard line. Send a hello back to Jeremiah Nesby.
They get one more score here, we might be able to take this into the 4th quarter with a continuous clock.
Coming up on 2 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter, the Raiders staying in that stacked I formation. Arnold looking to pass. He's going up top. He's got a man deep, and he's got the touchdown.
Nice pass, nice touch. I think they were looking for that continuous clock as well. Nice find by Arnold. They come out in that stacked I. Howland's keeping 9 in the box. They've got one-on-one outside. That receiver was able to get 2-3 steps on the corner. Arnold throws a real nice pass down the sideline. Nice pitch and catch. 6 points. Let's see if we can get 35 up on the board.
Raiders go for 2, and that's pounded in by Imari Burgess. That touchdown pass was complete to number 18, Marquand Brown. 36 yards from Brandon Arnold to Marquand Brown.
Another sophomore.
And then the 2-point conversion for Imari Burgess. That brings the score to 36-0 Harding. And at this point, I think we will be under continuous clock. 2:17 to play in the 3rd quarter. Excellent pass for Brandon Arnold. Right on target, catches Brown in stride. Easy play into the end zone from 36 yards out.
Yeah, the coaching staff has to really like what they've seen out of the team tonight. Came out here, obviously they were expected to win this game, but they came out, they did what they were supposed to do. When you got a rivalry game like you do with a team just nothing but, 10 minutes away from Mollenkopf Stadium, you never know how things are going to go. But the team came out, they established a running game with K-Ron Adams. The offensive line established dominance up front. The defense came out, did what they've been doing all year long, and really put a stop to that Howland offense before it could ever get started. Couple big runs here and there, but a bend but don't break type of mentality. Just an excellent performance all around by the first team. You've brought in the second team. They've been able to put up 2 scores, and they pitched a shutout as well. Just an all-around good performance by the Raiders, what you really wanted to see going into next week.
Noah Murray set to kick it off for the Raiders. He sends a high kick back to about the 14-yard line. That ball's bobbled back there. And that receiver picks it up. He's got some room. He gets it out to about the 49-yard line. Nice return for the Howland return team.
You see that a lot on those kickoffs when the return man ends up bobbling the ball around back there. If he's able to pick it back up, it causes all those guys, all the guys on the kickoff team, they're always taught to maintain their lanes, but as soon as that ball gets free, something in your head shoots you right to that ball, ends up opening up some lanes for the return men for a nice kick. Luckily, Howland had somebody back, was able to make the stop there around the 48-yard line.
Sierra Stevens in Chicago checking in on us tonight. Great to have you with us. Howland first down and 10 at their own 48-yard line after that nice kickoff return. Handoff is to Babinchak. Babinchak trying to get some room around the left end. He turns the corner. Gain of about 8-9 yards on that play. Actually very close to a first down. I think he's going to have enough for the first down. They're moving the chains. First down, Howland. Ball to the 41-yard line of Warren Harding. 50 seconds to play in the third quarter. 36-0. Warren Harding over the Howland Tigers. Frontaglia drops back into the shotgun. And he's going to keep this one up the middle, gets a few yards. Actually, he moves that pile ahead quite nicely, picks up about 5 on that play. Takes it up to the 36-yard line, second down and 5 coming up.
Howland trying to establish something on this drive here with the running game. They've had a couple nice runs, hitting those ends.
I think that play is going to do it for the third quarter. Clock running down, 3, 2, 1. And that's it for the third quarter. And the Raiders are going to take a 36-0 lead into the fourth quarter. Howland will have the ball second down and 5 at the Harding 36 when we pick up play in the fourth. Ken Macklin checking in from Port Townsend, Washington. Bill Losey getting to watch his nephew. Bill out in Colorado getting to see his nephew play. Glad you're checking in with us, Bill. Hope you're enjoying the game. Raider Pride nationwide out there tonight. We've got folks all over the place. Great to have you with us. Howland sets up second down and 5 at the Harding 36-yard line. Start this fourth quarter. Looks like the drizzle may have tapered off just a little bit, but it's still coming down. There's the handoff to Babinchak up the middle. Babinchak plows ahead for a few yards, gets it out close to a first down, brings up a third down, and looks like about 2 yards to go for a first down.
Howland's jumping into this hurry-up offense here. see how if it has any effect on the Raider defense.
3rd and 2, and Fronsaglia is going to keep it, and Fronsaglia breaks it through the line of scrimmage. He's going to take it here for the Howland Tigers from 33 yards out. Looking for the quarterback sneak, just looking to pick up a couple yards, but you break that through the line of scrimmage, and everybody's up there tight, and there's nothing in front of you after that.
Yeah, we saw it a couple times on the other side of the ball with the Raiders. You bunch those guys in there, you get a couple missed tackles, and it's off to the races. That's going to end that continuous clock, I believe, here in the 4th quarter. Obviously, the Raiders with a comfortable lead, but you know the Raiders wanted to see that shutout.
Number 12, David Berman on for the extra point.
That's no good.
Looks like he misses that.
Somebody might have got a piece of that. A lot of pressure came in on that kick.
Score remains 36-6. I think the rule might be 33 points, so we might be back to a regular clock until the next Raiders score. 11:22 to play in the 4th quarter. Warren Harding Raiders with a 36-6 lead. Howland Tigers finally getting on the scoreboard with a 33-yard quarterback keeper for Jordan Franzaglio, the Howland quarterback. Got this game well in hand. Crowd really dwindling out there. Well, hopefully if you're going home early, go home and check out the end of the game online. There will be football in Week 11 for the Warren Harding Raiders. The only question right now is where is that going to be? We'll see how the points shake out over the weekend, and hopefully the Raiders are going to get to host a playoff game here at Mollenkopf next weekend.
I know last week they were showing the projections as of last week, and it looked like the Raiders were going to draw Paynesville Riverside. I'm not sure if that's changed or not.
Hopefully a lot of our other opponents are winning, so we get some of those second-level points. As we mentioned, Howland in kind of a down year, 1-8 coming into this game, so there won't be too many points gained from this win, but I heard teams like Fitch winning earlier on. Hopefully Fitch can hang on. That's going to pick up some points. It all depends on what those 4th and 5th place teams are doing tonight and what their opponents are doing, how close that point race is.
Oh yeah, you want to see Boardman, you want to see Fitch, you want to see what those scores turn out to be to pad some points for the Raiders. Like
Howland with the onside kick.
I think they blew the whistle early,
but they blew
the whistle early. Yeah, Howland, bad luck for Howland there because I don't believe he ever actually had possession.
I thought that was kind of quick myself. That ball was bobbing around out there, but at any rate,
Harding's
going to get possession at just inside their own 45-yard line. 10:48 to play in the 3rd quarter. Brandon Arnold once again leading that Raider offense back out onto the field. The Raiders remaining in that stacked I formation, and it looks like a few new running backs out there. Even more people getting into that ball game. That ball's bobbled on a handoff, but it's covered by the Raiders. A lot of new hands out there. The timing maybe not quite what it has been the last couple series.
Yeah, it looks like you probably got a lot of guys playing right now that haven't had a lot of snaps in practice. Just trying to get everybody some reps, get everybody involved in this game.
2nd down and 17 at the Raider 39-yard line. There's a handoff to the deep back in that power I. Moves a pile ahead about 3 yards. See if we can get a number on there, see who that was.
It's
And
ours.
it's covered by the Raiders. There is a flag on a play, but for the moment anyway, there's a fumble covered by that Raider defense.
See if maybe we've got a hold out there or something that was thrown by the side judge.
We haven't
Maybe a
got
block.
a signal on the penalty yet.
Possibly a block in the back or a hold. Let's see. Oh, personal foul. Hey,
69 flag. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Face mask on the Raiders is going to negate that fumble recovery. Give the Howland Tigers 15 yards and a first down. They'll take that ball inside the 25-yard line. First and 10, Howland Tigers at the Raider 20-yard line. Howland trying to put another score on the board. Trying to get their seniors out of the season on a positive note. It's been a long season for them, coming in here at 1-8. Down season for the Howland Tigers. Frenzaglia back to pass, looking down that left sideline. There's a fight for the ball
Nice
down
catch.
there. It looks like it falls
didn't give it to him.
incomplete. That Raider cornerback able to get his hands in there and break that pass up.
Thought Nathan Barrett was going to come down with that ball. Corner was able to stay out there, keep on fighting for it, but it's all for nothing anyways with the offensive penalty for an illegal shift.
That'll move the ball back to the 25-yard line, give Howland a first down and 15. Clock continues to run. Maybe 30 points is the continuous clock because it is running on that incomplete
Yes.
pass. Okay, so we are under the continuous clock, under 6 minutes to play. Howland's going to call a timeout at 5:52 left in the game.
Well, Tom, as we come to this timeout, I'd like to just acknowledge how what a pleasure it's been to be able to do these games the last couple years. Standing up here, you get a whole different perspective of the game, watching play by play, watching each one of these players develop, and watching this team develop as a whole. I have a lot of confidence going into next week with where we saw this team start from the second half of the first game moving on. It's just been a real pleasure to be able to do this on behalf of the school and on behalf of these kids and just really watch this team progress. Really excited to go into the playoffs this year.
Frenzaglia back to pass. Again, looking down that left sideline. Underthrows his receiver. But this time, I believe the defensive back had his back to the ball, so he's going to get flagged for interference on that play. Pass interference on the Raider defense. Yeah, and I couldn't agree more. This has been just an absolute privilege to be up here, get to watch these kids from this vantage point and give some recognition to them, some well-deserved recognition to a lot of these young men. And this is definitely not the same team we saw in week one, not by a long shot, or not the same team we saw in the first half of week one. They've come a long way, and they've hit their stride. And whoever draws them to playoffs, I think is going to have a real fight on their hands.
Yeah, they've shown that the team is much more than just the running game. Very, very strong defense. A lot of other key players they've got on the team as well.
Frenzaglia rolls out to his left. It keeps it, and Frenzaglia is going to take it in from 13 yards out for another Howland touchdown. Frenzaglia with his second rushing touchdown of the half. Makes the score 36-12 with 5:06 to play in the ball game.
Nice to see from the senior quarterback over on the Howland side. Last game of the year. Nice to see that he hasn't given up. He's still fighting. A lot of pride on the other side of the ball.
And the extra point attempt for Berman is good. Makes the score 36-13. 5:06 to play in the ball game.
You feel for these for the guys on the other side of the ball. Real tough. There's nothing like high school football. You probably grew up with these kids. When you were in first grade out at elementary school playing football at recess, you had the same guy sitting next to you. I remember my quarterback from first grade was my quarterback in Midget League football. He was my quarterback in junior high, my quarterback in high school. You'd get in the huddle and you didn't look across from strangers. You looked across the huddle at your neighbor. You looked across from the kid that you've been in school with since elementary school all the way up. Since a little kid, you dreamed about playing on that field under those lights, and all of a sudden you get the opportunity, and you start out as a freshman, you work your way up, and it goes by in a flash. And a lot of these, some of these kids will be lucky enough to go on to play college football. Some of them maybe go on to play NFL football. But I can tell you, there is nothing like high school football. And when you see the clock start to dwindle down, and you know that it's the last time that you're ever going to put that uniform on, it's the last time you're ever going to represent your alma mater, it's tough. You're going to see a lot of tears down there from a lot of tough guys, knowing that this is the last time that they'll ever strap up with their friends and go to battle out on the field. So hats off to the Howland Tigers. Unfortunately, the season didn't end how they wanted to, but I'm real proud to see that, they got a lot of pride. They kept on fighting and never gave up in this game.
Another low kick, fielded about the 19-yard line. He's got some running room down there. Forced out of bounds out around the 46, 47-yard line. Yeah, Ned, you're absolutely right about that. I can remember back a long time ago, 1981. I go back that long. I remember it was heartbreaking to look up at that scoreboard and see zeros on that clock at the end of the night. And I stood on that field as long as I could before I had to go down to the locker room and take the pads off, take that helmet off for the last time. You put a lot of heart and soul into this. These seniors have probably been out there for 5 years since junior high football, and through all those August two-a-day practices and the good times and bad times in the season. And like you said, you're out there with lifelong friends. You're not out there with friends. And there's another bobbled snap. Harding manages to fall on that ball, keep the ball. Loss on a play of about 7 yards, brings up a second down and 17. Actually, the call does go to Howland. The initial signal was Raider football. The referees have reversed that, and it is Howland football, 1st and 10 at the Raider 40-yard line.
Yeah, you remember everything. I mean, I remember my last game of the year was an away game. I remember the bus ride there. We were fortunate enough to win the game. But you just remember everything. And as the clock starts to wind down, and you get that feeling, and like you said, you sit there for as long as you can, just taking it all in, and you get back to the locker room and realizing the last time you'll ever take the pads off for with your friends.
Howland 1st down and 10 at the Raider 39-yard line. Fonsaglia rolls out to his left. He's looking downfield. He's got a man open. And there's a catch, and touchdown Howland. 39-yard touchdown pass to number 45, Nathan Barrett. He finally catches him down that left sideline.
Well, like we said before, no give up in these Howland Tigers. Makes that a 20, looking to make that a 20. See if they go for 2 to make it a 21-36 game. Probably a little too late for a comeback. I'm sure they're going to line up for that onside kick.
Howland lining up to go for 2 right here, trying to make it a 15-point ball game. That snap was bobbled, so the extra point attempt's going to be no good. 36-19 with 4:29 to play. And the difference in that play there, Eddie, is it remains a 3-score ball game. If they get that 2 points in there, now it's a 2-touchdown game. And at 4:29 to play and Howland with a little bit of momentum, you know, anything can happen. We've seen a lot of magic on this Mollenkopf field over the years, and a lot of it comes from Harding, but every now and again somebody else comes in here. But the extra point's no good, so it remains a 3-possession ball game in favor of the Raiders.
Well, I can tell you at this point, the starters aren't coming back in. I mean, I believe shoulder pads have been off since the first quarter, so they're going to stick with this second and then sometimes even third unit. Coaches are going to get down there. Coaches are going to get into them, let them know, hey, I don't care what unit's out here. We play hard. We play to the last whistle. We play to the zeros are on the clock. And, you know, you finish this game strong.
And 2 things need to happen here. That return team's got to cover the onside kick, because you know that's coming.
Yes.
And then once on the ball, whether that offense scores or not, they're going to hang on to the ball for a couple minutes and put this game away.
Yeah, you've seen a lot of you've seen the turnovers come. I think we had an interception, and we've had a couple mishaps with the exchange from the quarterback to the running back. Luckily, we were able to fall on many of those, but obviously you got to clean that up. And if you remember, the last time Howland did attempt the onside kick, it looked like the ref blew the whistle a little earlier. That could have been Howland ball there. So Raiders definitely got to be ready for this, and it doesn't really look like they're in position to field an onside kick. And they're going to call timeout so they can regroup here, because they were in a standard kick return. Howland had that left side heavily loaded up with a bunch of their receivers over there getting ready to recover that onside kick. Raiders wisely took a timeout, or you could have seen another possession for Howland here, and would have made it a little interesting if they could have got a quick score with 4 minutes, and I think they only have 1 timeout left, though.
Yeah, they've got momentum on their side, and they've scored on their last 2 possessions, so they've put some points up on the board in a hurry this 4th quarter.
Well, they've been able to score, and they've also been able to stymie this unit that the Raiders have in at this point. So it looks like the Raiders are still going to come out in what looks to be, oh no, they got the hands team. You can see they took the big guys out from the front line, they put the receivers up there, so they got the hands team on.
Yeah, they finally got 11 guys on the field. They don't need a penalty on this play. Give them another shot. There's the onside kick to the left side. Big bounce. Scramble for the ball, and let's see what the signal is. No signal yet. And the Raiders come up with that onside kick.
That young kicker got the bounce that professional kickers dream of when they do their onside kicks. That's exactly how it's supposed to go.
That was everything you look for out of an onside kick.
You want a couple hops, and you want that big hop and make it a jump ball. He got exactly what he wanted. It looked like Howland had a good chance to recover that, but the Raiders were able to jump on the ball, give themselves a 1st and 10 here at midfield with about 4.5 left.
Another big shout out once again, Fred Whitaker, Frank Bosak, these students at WSCN. You know, it's not just being behind the cameras. These guys get here real early on game day and get everything set up and ready to go. And Eddie and I just come in and make our few comments, but the real backbone here is the students behind these cameras, guys. So thank you for all your efforts. Again, Harding in that stacked eye offense, handoff up the middle, pick up of about a few. Make it 2nd down and 8 on this play.
Yeah, you really can't emphasize enough the great work that's put in to being able to put this on YouTube live for everyone. You and I, we get to come up here and we get to talk football. These guys come up here, the adults that supervise and the students that are running everything up here, they come in here and they put in some real work. It's a pleasure to be able to work with them, a pleasure to be able to come up here and talk Harding football with you.
Looks like we got some of the other backs in there from earlier in the game. I see there's Elijah Smith with a handoff up the middle. Amari Burgess once again in that deep back position. Elijah Smith picks up a few yards, makes it 3rd down and 2. Another first down or two ought to just about wrap this up. Warren Harding trying to put the Locks on a Week 10 win over the Howland Tigers, push their record to 8-2. And once again, hoping those points fall our way over the weekend so that Mollenkopf can host a round 1 OHSAA Division II playoff game next week. There's a handoff again to Smith, and this time the Howland defensive line plugs it up. Moves the ball back a couple of yards, brings up a 4th down and 4. Looks like Harding's going to keep that offense on there, try to get another first down, take some more time off the clock.
Yeah, start to run this clock, get everybody into that locker room. I want to take a quick minute to acknowledge, I see some of my players down there from my 2 flag football teams, my 6U and my 10U. We start tomorrow. The playoffs open up on Saturday. My oldest team, the 10U team, they play at 9 o'clock, and my youngest 6U team, they're going to play at 1 o'clock, and definitely hoping to put in a performance like we saw the Raiders do tonight.
Good luck to those young men. Future Raiders.
Yeah, you know, we've got a lot of great programs, and I don't know if it'd be appropriate to call them feeder programs, but, you know, you've got programs like the Little Raiders. You've got programs like the Flag Football League that is ran by Keisha Sanders. These are great opportunities. I always tell the parents in the league I coach, the Flag Football League, that I want to give them the opportunity to watch their kids out there to make the decision if they feel it's appropriate for their kids to put the pads on one day. But all those programs do nothing but build those kids to one day possibly play here at Mollenkopf Stadium.
Delay of game penalty, move the ball back to the 50-yard line. Brandon Arnold forced out of the pocket. He's going to pick up a few down to the 46-yard line. Howland's going to take over in downs at their own 46-yard line with 2:11 to go in the ball game.
Yeah, another great program, the Little Raiders and Rick Riley and everyone that's involved in that program over there, really getting these kids ready for the junior high level and then obviously on here to the high school level.
.211 to play in the ball game. The Raiders on top 36-19. Howland with the ball 1st and 10 at their own 46-yard line. Franzaglia back to pass,
again.
and he's
There's
under a lot of
pressure.
pressure, and he's sacked back at the 35-yard line.
All night long, doesn't matter what unit's in. A lot of pressure been coming from that right-hand side.
Howland takes a timeout on that play. 1:57 to go in the ball game. 36-19, Warren Harding Raiders on top. Howland will have a 2nd down and 19 at their own 37-yard line. Harding looking to go 8-2 and finish this regular season off on a 7-game winning streak. After that Week 3 loss to Massillon, they've run the table, looking to secure a home playoff game for next weekend.
We'll switch out for a dry ball here.
Jordan Franzaglio sets up in that shotgun, drops straight back, and he was under a heavy rush. And that ball is complete to Barrett at the 40-yard line.
Yeah, the cornerback fell down out there, allowed for Barrett to make that catch. He got caught up in his in the defender that was on the ground. That would have been another quick 6 for Howland.
A lot of credit to Jordan Frenzaglia back there. He had that Harding defender barreling down on him. He managed to get that pass off. And Howland takes its last time out, it looks like, with 1:40 to play in the game. Big rush on that last play. Looked like Frenzaglia was set to take a big hit. Got that pass off, complete to Barrett, all the way down to the 37-yard line. 1st and 10 Howland in Raider territory.
Well, as you can see, Howland recognized the mismatch they had out there with Brantley listed at 5'8", and 45 Barrett listed at 6'2" over there. That's why they've been trying to go at that matchup on the left-hand side all night.
Harding with that blitz coming in off the left side on that last play, and Frenzaglia just able to get that pass off, and he put it where it needed to be. And Howland is in position at the Raider 37-yard line with the 1st and 10. 1:40 to play in the ball game.
Yeah, a lot of pressure coming from the edges all night, whether it be from the left-hand side or the right-hand side. Raiders have been able to get pressure whenever they wanted to from those ends.
Frenzaglia remains in that shotgun position, drops back once again. Again looking down that left sideline. Good coverage down there that time by the Raider defense.
Yeah, you can see the quarterback's real comfortable with that left-hand side there. I think he's got the best vision from there because he's probably watching that side. He's got had a lot of pressure coming from that side. But he went to the well a couple too many times there. We had perfect coverage over there. If the corner would have turned, he would have had an easy pick.
2nd down and 10. 1:33 to play in the ball game.
Got the big receiver Barrett down here to the right, bottom of the screen.
Frenzaglia back to pass again, looking at that left sideline. Overthrows his receiver, brings up a 3rd down and 10. Clock stops once again at 1:29. Howland facing a 3rd down and 10 at the Raider 37-yard line. Howland with 3 late scores here in the 4th quarter to make it 36-19, but that 36-0 lead just a little bit too much to overcome.
Well, you saw it from the beginning when they came out. Big run by K-Ron kind of sealed it 14-0. Coach Arnold had saw enough from those starters, pulled them out, I'd say probably before the end of the 1st quarter. The only disappointing thing is you saw, I think we had 3 turnovers there in that 1st quarter, but the defense stepped up big and held Howland out of the end zone. Big hit.
Frenzaglia forced out of the pocket, picks up 9 on a play, and he is hit hard at the end of that play. And both the defender that hit him and Frenzaglia are down. That was a big collision at the end of that play. A 4th down and 1 coming up, and more importantly, let's check on these 2 young men on the field down there. You don't want to see that on one of the final plays of the season. There was a big head-to-head collision down there, so hopefully that nobody's hurt too badly.
You know, it's just one of those things that's hard to avoid. It looked like the runner was going down as the defender was coming in, and both of them kind of the runner out of control, and they just big hit, helmet to helmet. You hope to see both of these players be able to get up and walk off under their own strength.
Once again, 1:13 left to play. Harding on top 36-19. That's the good news, but that's all secondary right now. We want to see these 2 players on the field, make sure that they get up and walk off. That was a big, big collision at the end of that play. Both training staffs out on the field checking after their players.
The Raider that hit him, I believe he was up at first, and then, he ended up going down.
Looks like from this vantage point, I think they're
both
Howland
up
quarterback
now.
is sitting up. They're sitting up the Raider players, so they're both sitting up, which is good news.
Like they're going to, Harding players up on his feet now.
I get a chance to check out a number. We'll give you that young man's name. And there's the Howland quarterback is up. Both players on their feet. Jordan Fronsaglia from Howland, despite everything, he's turned in one gritty performance. The pressure he's been under tonight and being able to get out, and he's run for a couple of touchdowns. He's thrown for another. And 24, Jordan Brantley, the Harding defender, injured on that play. He's making his way off the field. So both these players up and walking, and that's good to see. I don't think we'll see Fronsaglia for the rest of the evening. He's
Like they're
looking pretty woozy on his way over to that other sideline, so we're not going to see him again tonight, I don't think.
But once again, a heck of a performance, under duress all night, stayed in there, played his butt off, never gave up. You know, great effort by the senior in his last game.
A 4th and 1 play coming up for the Howland Tigers. They are on the Harding 28-yard line. Quarterback keeper.
So it's David.
I'm not sure if he fell down.
David Berman the third.
I'm not sure if he fell ahead enough for that first down or not. The initial spot doesn't look like he has it.
Yeah, the Howland offense looks like they're going to, well, no signal yet. Are they going to measure? Yep, they're going to bring out the chains.
Bring the chains out and measure this one. Again, David Berman in, relieving the injured Jordan Fronsaglia. Berman has handled the extra point duties on Howland's touchdowns.
And he's short.
Not able to pick up that 4th down and 1. That ball is going to go over to the Raider offense at their own 28-yard line. 1st down and 10 with 1 minute 1 second remaining in this 2018 regular season for both of these teams. Howland's going to head out of here at 1-9 on the season. Very uncharacteristic for Howland. They're going to try to pick up the pieces and see what they can bring back out for 2019. And Harding's going to go in and start preparing for next week. They will have a playoff game. Just have to wait and see exactly where that's going to happen. Hopefully right here at Mollenkopf.
And as they go into victory formation, hats off to this team for a great season.
And it looks like it's take a knee time for the Harding Raiders. 1, maybe 2 more snaps, and that'll do it for tonight. Once again, big shout out to everybody out there watching. Boy, we had check-ins from all over the country: Washington State, Colorado, Chicago. A lot of Harding alumni out there across the country checking in on our Raiders.
Like one more knee, and that might be it.
Clock winds down on a 36-19 Harding Raider win over the Howland Tigers. And Eddie, once again, this whole season, it's been an absolute pleasure working with you up here. I can't wait for 2019, get to do it all over again.
Yeah, you know, as long as they'll have me up, I'll always come back. I mean, this has been a great pleasure to do this. If the OHSAA doesn't allow us to broadcast next week, we'll definitely be watching this game from the stands and cheering on our Raiders. Hopefully we can get deep into these playoffs and maybe see you down in Columbus for a state championship.
Well, that's going to do it from Mollenkopf here. Your Raiders finish up the regular season on a 7-game winning streak, going to 8-2 on the year, finishing it off with a dominating 36-19 win over the Howland Tigers. There will be football in Week 11 for Warren Harding. As I said a couple of times, we're going to wait for the weekend points to be added up. We'll figure out where that is. Once again, to all of you out there watching, we're so glad you spent the evening with us. And good night to Mark Flagger, wherever you are. That's going to wrap it up. We're out of here, guys. Good luck, Raiders, in Week 11. Have a great week.